I'm often asked, okay, Robert, you're talking about the old business game, the new business game. Give me some more details, some more specifics about how you run businesses playing the new business game. Now, I could speak for days about this, so I'm going to obviously have to keep it brief and kind of an overview, 50 foot up, looking down, kind of a general perspective. And then there's so much more information on this in the Busting Loose from the Business Game book and related works. In playing the new business game, I live in what I call reactive mode. Now let me explain what I mean by that. All day long, every day, and this is true of your life and your business, by the way, but we're just talking about business right here. Two things are happening. One is somebody or something that appears to be outside of you happens that seems to be requiring some sort of a response from you. Now that could be somebody asking you a question. That could be you becoming aware of a problem or a challenge or an issue, whether it might be by email or telephone or a letter or a memo or whatever it is. But something outside of you demands your attention and seems to demand some sort of a response from you. That's scenario one all day long as you play the business game. The other thing is there's nothing going on outside of you that's demanding any kind of a response, but you have an internal feeling. You have an internal desire, motivation to go somewhere, do something, reach out, communicate, whatever it might be. So all day long, these two things are happening. We're feeling internal motivations to take some sort of an action, or something from outside of us seems to be requesting some sort of an action or a response from us. When you live in reactive mode, in essence, and life moves fast, so you're not necessarily waiting a long time, but when you live in reactive mode, you wait for one of these two things to happen. And when one of these two things happens, you feel an internal motivation to act, or something outside of you seems to be requiring a response, you respond in the way that you feel motivated to respond in that moment. Now that's the first part of how I live, and as part of the Busting Loose work, and part of how you bust loose and transition from the old business game to the new business game, there are specific tools that you use. And one of the most powerful tools is a tool that you use when you're feeling uncomfortable. When something outside seems to be requiring a response, but you're very uncomfortable about what's going on, or you're having an internal motivation to want to do something or take some kind of an action, but you're very uncomfortable about what's going on. One of the tools is designed specifically to be used then. And so as you're living in reactive mode and you're responding to what's going on inside of you or outside of you, you're also using these tools, and these are part of what I call the expansion process that allows you to exit permanently the old business game and start playing the new business game. That's the first major difference in terms of how I play the new business game, and then I respond how I feel motivated to respond, including using the tools or just doing whatever it is that I feel motivated to do in that moment. I don't try to think about it. I don't try to figure it out. I don't analyze it. I don't seek outside guidance in general, although if I felt motivated to, I will. I don't try to figure it all out and compare all the options and this whole kind of thing, which is the way I used to do it, which was so exhausting and ultimately didn't work for me in playing the old business game. In playing the new business game, everything moves from a primary focus of here, thinking, intellect, logic, understanding, to here, which is about feeling. And this may sound kind of airy-fairy or woo-woo or new agey or whatever it might be to you, but this is where it goes, and this is where the real power is, including with business, and including as it relates to increased sales and profits and decreased problems and issues and other kinds of things that you really want to have happen in your business. So that's the first thing that's so different. Now, as part of living in reactive mode, my primary focus right now, and this flows through to how do I respond when I have an internal motivation or something outside of me seems to be requiring a response, is my number one priority, so to speak, my number one focus is fun. It's enjoyment. It's pleasure. I don't do anything in my business anymore that isn't fun for me. And I make decisions based on what I coined a term several years ago, lifestyle friendliness. It doesn't matter how much money I could make in the storyline. It doesn't matter what kind of a story I could make up of how good this would be for me or my business. or my family or whatever it might be. What's most important to me and what will become most important to you when you expand to a certain point and start playing the new business game is the same thing, fun. What would be fun for me? All day long, every day, I am focused on what would be fun for me. And that's how I make decisions. If an opportunity crosses my desk, I take a look at it and I say, and it's quick, I don't really ask myself this, it just happens. Would this be fun for me? Does this feel like something that would be fun for me in living in reactive mode? If the answer to that is yes, and I feel motivated to do it, then I do it. But it's all about the fun. There's no focus anymore about productivity, sales, profits, making more money. The focus is all on what would be fun for me. And once you begin playing the new business game, you start living in reactive mode, you've used the tools enough, and your focus moves, which it doesn't happen overnight, into what would be fun for me. When you follow what would be fun for you, everything else takes care of itself as a natural byproduct of you playing the new business game and playing from what you might call an expanded level of consciousness, which is the opportunity that busting loose from the business game gives you to move into this kind of a place. And it may seem hard to believe, it may seem impossible that you could live your life that way, that you could focus on what would be fun and the rest of it would just take care of itself. But that's what happens. That's what happens when you bust loose from the old game and you start playing the new business game at an expanded level of consciousness.